Onboarding is the first chance that a candidate has to really make sure that their decision to say yes to us was the right decision to make, to feel like that they belong here and to feel like they're working for an organisation that has purpose and has commitment. We've got that in spades, so it is just about you making sure that your candidate, soon-to-be colleague, feels that. So if we don't get onboarding right in the current talent market, we will just lose that candidate. You know, if that person does not feel engaged with us as an organisation, they quite simply won't start.
If we get onboarding wrong, what tends to happen is we lose colleagues. And we've gone through a huge process to try and recruit people, so we end up running the vacancies for longer and teams become under stress and more pressure in that. And we have to, in many respects, go back to the drawing board. I feel a lot of that could be avoided by the onboarding process and getting it right.
As managers and hiring managers, we are genuinely really busy, and sometimes that month or 3 months notice period that someone's working can feel like a long time, like you've got all of the time in the world to plan for what happens next. We all know that that goes quickly, so my encouragement is please do make sure that you allocate time to making sure this experience is great for our new starters. If we don't make sure that experience is great, we may lose them and that'll add more time on again. Or we'll get that new colleague or candidate anyway, but they're really disengaged from day one, or they're doubting that they've made the right choice to come here. And we'll know that performance as a consequence to that will dip, so your job ultimately becomes harder.
You will see the benefits as a manager in the long run. For me, what I can see is good retention. I'm not having to recruit as much. Colleagues who feel valued, feel empowered, and have great insight into their job roles will normally stay with a good line manager, and you can see that throughout different services and different pockets in the organisation.
Some of it isn't hard for a hiring manager to make sure that kind of gap between saying yes to a job offer and starting is engaging. It's just those warm little bits. It's just making sure you keep in contact with your candidate, that you're sharing things about what day one might look like, useful stuff, practical things, and just making sure that that person feels part of the team. They know who they're going to meet, they know who they'll be working alongside, all of the things that will make that day one experience good. The other part of really making sure is that they're set up for success on day one, and a big part of that is making sure that we've got systems, that we've got kit all ready to go. So don't forget to do that new starter form as well.
It's really important that we meet with them and we talk about what's going to happen over the next number of weeks in the pre-boarding period. If we have a new colleague joining us who's potentially leaving a new job, we want to make sure that they give their correct notice period and maybe avoid gaps, but also so that they understand the various compliance elements that we need to go through in terms of references and maybe DBS checks.
So if they're office space, again, they should be receiving kind of a tour of the office space, where toilets are, fire exits, you know, where is the printer? Where do I make a cup of tea? Then basics should be given, and not just leaving that colleague with them anxieties of navigating a space as well. We've
all been that new person, and the worst thing is sat there feeling like a spare part. So we must eradicate that and get the colleague involved in meaningful pieces of work whilst learning what their job role is and how home group operates.
As a manager, think differently about what that time allocation needs to look like. It doesn't have to be you. Think about the colleagues that you've got on your team, the buddies that could be there, and just other teams that could be part of an induction and welcoming experience. So what makes for a brilliant buddy? A brilliant buddy is someone who knows home group, who knows how things work, can be warm, and is happy to share their experience and knowledge with a new starter.
I mean, everyone feels nervous. And I definitely felt nervous. I came here, I turned up way too early. I was stood outside, like, in the cold, not wanting to go in just yet. I was getting like these sort of butterflies thinking, okay, what's the time? Is it nearly 9 o'clock? Should I go in yet? Should I go in 10 minutes earlier, 5 minutes earlier? What should I do? But as soon as like I entered the building, and I was like greeted with these friendly faces, you know, there's a host on the entrance and everyone's just smiling back at me, and I was doing like my best to smile at everybody else as well. I'm just like, I felt immediately welcomed.
Before starting day one, obviously had me on board and all of that sort of stuff, and I quickly met all my supervisors. Honestly, the top blokes, that's the best way I can put them. I've never met like supervisors that have been so like welcoming and like open to meeting new people. A lot of jobs, it's a bit difficult when you go in and you've never worked with the people alongside you, and I think it gets made a bit worse when Those people don't really seem to have an interest in getting to know you, getting to see what you like, what your interests are, just little stuff like that.
For the first couple of weeks, I'm very much around in the service and checking in on the colleague and then receiving feedback from their buddies as well. And then going forward until they pass the probation, you need to be constantly, checking in with that colleague through brilliant conversations, through well-being chats and things like that.
You've already invested so much time and effort into finding the right candidate for this role. It's important not to lose energy from here and making sure that experience from saying yes is equally as strong.
So what I would do is give them an induction timetable, and at about 4 o'clock every day we have a 15-minute chat and a catch-up to do reflective practice. Has there been any issues in the day? Has there been anything that particularly went well in that day? Do they have any concerns about our practice that we need to talk about? And really dedicating that time to that colleague is important.
So we've got an amazing site on Homeworld, an onboarding hub where you'll find everything you need. It'll be your one-stop shop.
So one of the crucial elements of being a good onboarder and a good line manager is caring for that new colleague as much as we would for our customers. So making it person-centred and adapting to their needs and learning styles.
The team and I are here to help as well. We'll do everything that we can to support you, making sure that your new starter's experience is the best it can be.